Welcome back to Purpose Design Life. I'm Creaticca and today I will be talking about the most common mistakes in interior design projects and how you can avoid them. The first and the most common mistake is lack of planning. Basically, you need to know how much budget you are having and you need to make sure that everything that you are selecting, all the materials and all the aesthetics that you are selecting on Pinterest or on the internet, those are fitting into the budget that you have selected. You don't want to be doing all of this job and then later on you realize that you've overshot the budget. So that's the first and the most common mistake. Second step is ignoring functionality. In case you are going with some kind of an aesthetic, but the space does not function as per your own utility, then of course you've again missed a big goal of the project. In order to get the right functionality out of the space, you need to make sure that the aesthetics and functionality is balanced. If you say require for some reason you need to have low seating, you need to make sure that you are selecting the styles which are fitting into that kind of aesthetic. For example, something like a Japanese seating or a Japandi kind of a style. But in case you want something which is very ergonomic, and you have some kind of a issue with any of the family member, or if you have senior citizen at the house, then you need to be more mindful. Instead of going with things which are fitting into particular aesthetic only, you need to be very careful that the space is actually useful for each and every person that's being inside that space. Whether it's a commercial space, whether it's a residential space, each and every space has to be designed as per the functionality first, and then we can talk about the aesthetics. The third one is poor lighting. Each and every space requires an ambient, task, and accent light. So you need to make sure you are having the right color temperature, the right wattage, so you can get a customized lighting solution depending on time of the day. Each and every space has its own use. Say for example, you're in a living room. The living room is a space which is going to be used throughout the day. So you need to be sure that if you are say sitting in a living room for a cup of coffee in the afternoon, then it's having the right kind of light which kind of matches closely with the natural light which is outside in the outdoors, because it's a human nature that due to the circadian rhythms that are there in our body, we feel most comfortable when we are matching with when the lighting is being matching with the exterior lighting. It allows to bring that interior indoor outdoor concept as well, because it makes the spaces feel open because of the light being very similar to the exterior lighting. And also at the same time, it helps us in regulating our sleeping cycles, and that's a very important thing when it comes to light. So the third thing is lighting, which is often overlooked. Then after that comes choosing the wrong pieces of furniture. When we are selecting the furniture, say you're going to a particular brand and you are finding a sofa or a bed, you need to make sure that the dimensions are accurate as per the drawing that is being approved by your designer or your contractor or by your builder. Because sometimes you will be seeing that there are beds which are coming in king size, queen size, and certain different size as well. If in case you are getting it made on the site, then of course there is much more flexibility because you will be getting the right accurate dimensions from the contractor on site. But a lot of time what happens is the measurements which are being shown in the builder's drawing and what is actually on the site can be slightly varied. And because of that, you can get a piece of furniture which will look perfectly fitting in the drawing itself. As per the layout, it will seem that this is the right piece of sofa or a bed, but later on when you actually get it on site, it starts to look bulky. So just to avoid this thing, we recommend something like doing taping on site, which is basically taking the measurement of each and every piece of furniture that you're considering for your space, and then you're actually taping that onto the floor, so it allows you to get a experience of that exact piece of furniture in reality. And it's almost as close as you can get to the experience of VR or AR, which is very common these days. But in case the brands don't have AR and VR functionalities, in that case you can use something very simple and subtle like a taping, which will give you an idea about how the space is going to feel after the furniture is put in place. And finally, the last and kind of not so common mistake is neglecting your personal style. Normally, people will have a personal preference of style. They will either have minimal or, kind of mid-century kind of style. They will know that what kind of look they like. This can be done using something like Pinterest or Instagram. You can start saving in pictures that you like the most, and that will give you an idea that what kind of images and styles you like the most. So in that case, I would definitely recommend going through some YouTube videos, which I will pin down in the comment, and you can go through them so you know that which style is kind of fitting your style and aesthetics. And apart from this, if you say have a very different kind of vision, you don't want to stick with any particular style, maybe you want different look in all of the different rooms, That is also possible, provided there is some kind of link in between the space. It can be in form of the light, it can be in form of the flooring. There has to be at least some element which is going consistent throughout the space. You can't have complete space disconnected from each other. It will just not look good, and it will not feel comfortable in the end of it. So I would recommend that you keep one thing consistent, even if you're going with something unique, like putting different concepts in different spaces of the area. But if you can have a idea about what is your style, what is a particular aesthetic or look that you like, that is the best case scenario. And for that, like I've told you, there is also some links that I've putting in the description. You can go through them, and it will give you an idea what kind of aesthetics that you like the most. And thank you so much for watching the video. I hope this was useful for you. And in case you found it useful for yourself, share it with your friends who might need this kind of tips and tricks for doing their interiors in the best way possible.